Guys, it's me. Don't mind my hair being crazy and shit. Looking to get a haircut. Get those hair wings taken care of. But this is episode 2 of why DOA did not get a Hollywood theatrical release of like an animated series. Here's like a list of reasons. Reason 1. The internal climate for gaming and for Hollywood has not been good. And it's all gone woke. 2, the gaming industry has began to be so greedy over my lifetime. The reason 3 is low merchandise sales of said action figures and costumes because there aren't enough of them being made. I mean, look at anime for example. We got Ash Ketchum action figures like this action figure, an old Ash Ketchum action figure back when, merchandise sales were at an all-time high for fiction. We have like some like other nerdy stuff like Power Rangers action figures being made still to this day, going good. We have like Marvel action figures, Marvel action figures like the Human Torch being made, still going strong. But when it comes to big time mainstream action figure and merchandising, we know who has the bigger chunk of that pie. Pro wrestling merchandising. How is it that pro wrestling merchandising is insanely common and popular amongst toys, action figures, on store shelves, but Dead or Alive can't get no action figure sales because it's all online? You have to buy them figures all online. You have to buy a lot of that shit online because the action figure sales, this right here would have been full of nothing but video game related action figures. But no. That amount of action figures, I would have had this whole room full of video game action figures in various different versions. Mortal Kombat can barely get in there. I'm seeing like little sprinkles of like Mortal Kombat merchandising wherever I go. Barely see any of it. But the G.I. Joe series still goes on strong despite it not being a very popular series like it used to be back in the 1980s. Now, Dead or Alive was made in the 1990s. Closer to the early 1990s, where fighting games dominated the living shit out of that gaming market. While first-person shooters were on the rage as much as fighting games. In pro wrestling games such as WWF Warzone, WWF Legends of Wrestling, or WrestleMania. Then we have like a few Zeus awful WWE games. WWE 2K20, 21, 22, and 23. Is it no surprise that when that DOA Dead or Alive movie came out, the movie killed any like momentum for the Dead or Alive franchise to actually get a cartoon, and boom, big massive momentum for the franchise to have action figures, costumes, and books, novel books, graphic novel books, and audio books, and home decor based on the franchise being sold. We would have had Dead or Alive posters. We would have had everything Dead or Alive for your home, your room decor. We would have had all that. We would have had like a Dead or Alive book on store shelves. But no, Paramount fucked that series in the ass with that shitty ass live action adaptation of a video game. The reason why Resident Evil got as far as it did as a live action adaptation of a video game is because of its star power. Milla Jovovich is what got that Resident Evil series as far as it did as a movie. It's because she has star power. But the star power of Devon Aoki was small compared to the star power that Milla Jovovich had. The star power of Jamie Presley was small. She only got like that role in My Name is Earl years ago. Devon Aoki had the role in the Sin City series, which was owned by either DC or Marvel at the time. Not sure which one. But Devon Aoki's star power was small. Jamie Presley's star power was small. And a bunch of other schlucks that got in on that action. Bunch of unnamed, no-name idiots that got casted. Then all of this suddenly having two movie stars slash television stars with their small little star power. I guarantee you, if Dead or Alive had have been written well with an all-star cast, you would have seen Dead or Alive become a cartoon within the span of a few short years. A few insignificantly short years if there was massive star power. But no. Two well-known, semi-well-known actresses who had only one thing to their credit in Hollywood, and that was not enough. As where Milla Jovovich had plenty of credits to her name that made her a big household name. There was that one science fiction movie. That one movie, that one Ultraviolet movie. There's quite a bit of stuff that Milla Jovovich was in. Resident Evil was the biggest thing she was in. She has big star power. But it would have been even a bigger star power if for the role of Bayman had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson play as Bayman. Before Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson shaved his head and got that tribal chest and shoulder and bicep tattoo on his left shoulder and left pec, and shaving his head, he would have got that role in 2006. But no. The star power would have flooded the market with Dead or Alive apparel. There would have been a massive merchandising of every single kind you could think of in Dead or Alive. But Taika McCoy and Team Ninja did not see it necessary to get all up in arms and pissed that their franchise was doing and performing poorly. We may never see Dead or Alive 7 come to fruition. We may never see Dead or Alive 10 or Dead or Alive 20. It'll take 100 years, probably 100 years, before we ever see Dead or Alive 20, the 20th entry in the Dead or Alive series, to end the series with a bang. But no, Dead or Alive, D-Way Dead or Alive just sucked the soul out of every possible momentumous chance for the series to thrive as a cartoon. We would have had an animated Dead or Alive, a book, like a cartoon book. We would have had Dead or Alive coloring books. We would have had Dead or Alive trivia books based on the series. But no, it was garbage because of the lack of momentum, because that momentum was killed by said Paramount. Paramount killed it. But they wound up taking all the years of money making and resourced it to make it Grease, The Rise of the Pink Ladies TV show. Like, that's such a spit in the face of gaming fans. You make a TV show based on like a couple of old movies that the Gen Xers grew up with? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And then, out of all craziness, Dead or Alive gets fucked in the ass by Paramount, while Paramount is off sucking the dicks of of said Grease 1 and Grease 2, sucking the dicks of those movie franchises with a TV show called Grease: The Rise of the Pink Ladies. That's what made D-Wade Dead or Alive an unlikely to happen cartoon series. That's another reason. Another reason is this. The franchise of Dead or Alive is never going to get a cartoon. It may take 2.5 centuries before we ever see a Dead or Alive cartoon ever hit the television screen. And that's if this woke ass timeline is gonna fucking come to an end. And a new timeline gonna begin. A new chapter in human history would start. A new era would start. It may take 100, maybe 2.5 centuries before we ever have a Dead or Alive cartoon hitting the airways on television. And that's if television is going to be around for much longer. The writers, and also, not to forget to mention, AI is starting causing problems too with that regard. And yes, the worst thing to happen to television is not social media. Believe me, social media is not the problem with the Hollywood, with legacy media. It is the threat of AI taking jobs from people. And yes, that's a problem. Dead or Alive would have never been AI produced. It would have been naturally organically produced cartoon series back then, over 10 years ago. It would have been a naturally, organically man-produced cartoon series. It would keep the DVD sales up and what have you. There'd be like ads for the next episode of D-Wade Dead or Alive, voiced by the actual cast that did the voiceover for the game characters, reprising their roles in the animated series. But we don't see that happening anytime soon because oh my Zeus. Because Paramount was sucking the dicks of Grease 1 and Grease 2, sucking them off to giving them their own little fucking love child, which is Grease: The Rise of the Pink Ladies, which is the love child between Grease 1 and Grease 2, and tie those movies together as an origin story for the Pink Ladies and the T-Birds. Who knows? Maybe somebody might end up taking the role of Danny Zuko, Kaneki, the T-Birds, all the T-Birds and all the Pink Ladies from the first Grease movie, then transition the leadership of the Pink Ladies and the T-Birds to the greaser gang of T-Birds from the second movie, and the Pink Ladies gang from the second movie. And we would see that all happen in a long event. The rise of the Pink Ladies to that of tying in both movies. But no, Dead or Alive ain't getting that level of attention. Oh, it's all about like the 1950s Grease thing, like oh, Danny Zuko and all his little greaser thug friends, Rizzo and her friends. We would have been having a marvelous Dead or Alive cartoon series that would go on that long. But we see it happen so often when works of art of today is being, overshadowed by the works of art of yesteryear. That's why D-Wade Dead or Alive has not gotten a cartoon. Because it was poorly timed. And Paramount did not treat D-Wade Dead or Alive with the respect it should have gotten. It should have abided by keeping the status quo of the lore. Stay the course. But it was a self-fulfilling prophecy that it would have happened to be shit on by this woke era and the woke agenda that wound up starting its infancy, its crustacean, its amoeba stages back in the 1960s, the early 1960s. The woke era wound up shitting on everything. I mean, we have like a lot of like we have so much going wrong. And I'm just going to tell you this. Dead or Alive wound up getting screwballed because of said. Because somehow the assholes in charge of Paramount back then did not even go and did their proper research and play the games. And getting a bunch of commercial actors on board with a couple of Hollywood actresses on board with it. D-Wade Dead or Alive is not going to get a cartoon. It may take 100, maybe 200.5 years before we ever see a Dead or Alive cartoon. Mark my fucking words. The Dead or Alive cartoon is not going to happen in my lifetime. Not at all. It may take 100 to 200 years tops before that ever happens. And I predict it's going to be going bad for the gaming franchise.